Hello, Year 4, and welcome to today's geography lesson. And as I said in the English lesson, our topic this term is all about plastic pollution and the damage we are inflicting upon our beautiful planet. And today we're going to start thinking about plastic and the role it plays in our lives. And there's our learning objective. I can explain why we use so much plastic. Okay, so start us off with this is a charity that we're going to be doing some of our lessons with, Young People's Trust for the Environment. I'm hoping that during the space of this unit, a lot of you, if not all of you, really start to think about the ways in which the choices we make in our lives, and a lot of the choices we make just because it's easy, the effect that's having on our environment. I'm hoping that over the course of this unit, more of you actually become more aware of what we're doing and make a change and make a promise to sort of do things that are going to be better for our environment. So plastic is all around us from the moment we're born. The moment you were born as a baby, a little plastic tag was put around your ankle just so the nurses knew which one you were. And you would have played with, I expect the majority of the toys you played with when you grew up were plastic. The computer that I'm recording this lesson on right now is mostly made of plastic. And I expect very nearby you, if not right next to you, you've got a plastic water bottle. Okay? But plastic's not been around forever. In fact, it's only in the past 100 years that plastic has really sort of become a material that mankind has used. Bakelite was an early plastic and is used to make items such as telephones. It was invented nearly 200 years ago, but it didn't really take off. And then about 100 years ago, people started finding ways to make it really cheap and easy. So it really took off then. But it's a brilliant material to use. It's strong, it's light, you can mold it easy, you can make it into different shapes. It's cheap, pretty cheap to make. So why do you think so many items are made out of plastic? I reckon it wouldn't take you long just to have a quick look around you and you see several items made of plastic. But why? Why not wood? Why not metal? Why not a different material? Can you come up with 3 or more reasons why plastic is used to make products? Okay, pause the video now and have a think. Can you think why plastic is such a popular material? Off you go. Okay, so you may have come up with one of the following reasons. Like we said, plastic is strong. Okay, yes, you can break it, but you have to put a bit of effort into it. It's long lasting. Okay, if I was to leave some wood outside, let's say I left a piece of wood on my garden. After a few weeks, that wood is going to be rotten. Okay, because it'll get damp and it'll get wet, etc., unless it's treated. Plastic, if I put a plastic bottle in my garden, it'll be there for months, years. Okay, unless someone took it away or the weather blew it away, it'll just stay there. Plastic's light. Okay, so if something's light, in terms of being transported around the country in lorries, it's easy, it's light. You don't get charged as much. You don't need as much fuel to transport it around. Like we said, we can mold it into different shapes, which makes it real easy to make different objects out of. It's not really damaged very much by water or heat, chemicals, electricity. When we heat it, it keeps its shape. Can be made into lots of different colours, so it's great for things like Lego. And we've said already, it is very cheap to make compared to other materials like metal or glass. So we've already talked about true or false in our English this morning. What about the environment? Can you tell me which of these facts is true or false? So in developed countries, about 1/3 of plastic is used in packaging. A developed country, therefore, is essentially a country that is able to It's self-sufficient. So we live in a developed country. We have decent, we have a good level of education, schools, employment. Our country is very good at looking after itself. Other countries in the world do depend on other countries for assistance. Okay, and we call those developing countries. We refer to ourselves as developed countries, and most countries, if not all, in Europe are now classed as developed countries. But about a third of the plastic in developed countries is used in packaging. True or false? What do you think? That's true. About a third of plastic used in developed countries is for packaging of food. Now, I'm looking at that picture there, and I'm thinking, okay, right, so the yogurt needs to come in packaging, and perhaps the fish cakes and the yogurt. But then I'm looking at potatoes. I'm thinking, well, potatoes grew in the ground, so why do we need to have plastic to protect them from something? Why, after they've spent their entire existence growing in the ground, do we now need to put them in plastic? Okay, same with strawberries as well. Okay, they're in a carrier to stop them getting bashed around, but do we need so much plastic? Worth thinking about. Wow. True or false? Every minute, around 1,000 plastic bottles are made in the world. True or false? What do you think? That is false. Okay, every minute, around 1,000 plastic bottles are made in the world. It's a lot more than that. Every minute, around 1 million plastic bottles are made in the world. 1 million plastic bottles every minute. That means that whilst I've been talking to you in this lesson, about 4 million bottles have been made. Wow. True or false? Since the 1950s, 1 billion tons, so 1950s, what was that, 70 years ago? 1 billion tons of plastic has been made. That's more than 1 million fully grown African elephants. True or false? It's false. Since the 1950s, 8.5 billion tons of plastic has been made. That's more than 1 billion fully grown African elephants. Wow. Plastic that's thrown in the bin will end up in landfill, and we're going to learn more about what that means in the next lesson. True or false, though? Up to 2 million tons of plastic, enters our oceans every year. That's a rubbish truck every hour. Look at all that rubbish there. There's animals, there's species trying to live in that. Isn't that just disgusting? It's false. Up to 12 million tons of plastic enters our oceans every year. That's a rubbish truck every minute. Can you imagine going down to the seaside and seeing a rubbish truck that comes and takes our bins away every week, just dumping its plastic into the sea every minute? That's effectively what happens, and it's very sad. Plastic that is dropped can be carried by wind and rain into rivers that flow into the sea. And a perfect example of this, next time you're out for a walk or you're out for a drive, look in a hedgerow next to the road and look at all the rubbish that's in it. Now, hedges are put there by farmers, all right, yes, to section up fields, but they're also there to stop winds blowing across so much and damaging crops. The other thing that hedges now do, rather unfortunately, is they catch all the rubbish that's blown around. You look around in a hedgerow, you look at all the rubbish that is lying in the bottom of a hedge. It's disgusting. Absolutely terrible. But products containing plastic, such as earbuds, you might clean your ears out or something else, and face wipes, you flush them down the loo, they end up in the sea as well. Okay? Anything that goes down your loo, down your sinkhole, will in the end up in the ocean. Okay? Yes, it will go through treatment work, but most of the plastic, some of the plastic doesn't get filtered out. So plastic fibers exist in some clothing. I don't think not the top I'm wearing at the moment, but fleece, okay, has little plastic fibers in it. And every time it goes through the wash, few more come out and they're carried away into the sewage system and out to sea. That's plastic fibers that ultimately may end up being eaten by sea creatures. Now, for your task, what I'd like you to do is to write 2 sentences about which of the facts that we've looked at so far worries or concerns you the most. And it'd be hard for me to pick out of those which one concerns me the most, or which 2. But have a think. You can go back through the video and check them. Okay? And then what I'd like you to do, now this is obviously what children in school are doing, but you can do this at home. Don't go and get anything in particular. I want you to have a look around you where you're sat at home. What can you see that's plastic? So I'm looking around me now where I'm filming this lesson. There's a TV controller here. That's plastic. I can see that there's some Lego here. That's plastic. I can see there's a DVD case sat next to me on the couch here. Okay, that's plastic as well. The computer that I'm filming this lesson on is plastic. And you know what? I guarantee that there's a lot of things in my phone that are plastic as well, including the case here. That's plastic, I know that is. Once you've grouped it, or once you've found all the things that are around you that are plastic, that you can lay your hand on, don't stand up and go walk around the house, just that are around you, have a think, right, how much of that can be recycled? How much of that plastic that you just picked out can be recycled? I'm not too sure whether Lego can be recycled or a TV controller. How much can be recycled? Something just to think about for our next session. Okay, Year 4? I hope today's session has made you think. That is the point behind all these, to make you think. Okay? Perhaps, like we're going to be learning about later this week with this book, This Book Is Not Rubbish, we can start thinking about some changes we can make to our lives that are going to have a positive impact on our environment. Okay, Year 4? Great effort today. See you soon.